Thank you so much, Chris. Yes, DJ. We had this very same team yesterday, Boston Breach. They ended up taking down the Toronto Ultra, which, as we know, there's some things going on over in that camp. But today they face off against the London Royal Ravens. We jump into Hotel Hardpoint, and I hate to say it, man, but there was definitely a favorite in this series.
Oh, yeah, without question, because we saw what Boston Breach were able to do yesterday. They basically won 3v4, and that was an insane series, especially versus a team like Toronto Ultra, who are no slouches, so they got it done, and everybody was just slaying. So on the opposite side for London, it hasn't been the best season for them. They've gotten 2 wins during week 1, one win ever since then. They just haven't found any success, man. And going into this map, number 1, they are dead last in rotations, dead last in breaking. It all just comes down to this lane, because Boston Breach, they were winning 3v4, and they did a majority of that by outslaying. So London, guns got to be hot early.
Yeah, they absolutely have to be. And I think if you're a Boston Breach fan, a little sweat off the brow. It's like, okay, Beans tossed his opening nade, and it didn't hit big weight.
That's
so
great.
We're already off to a better start. We'll see if they can continue the lockdown spawns over at P2. As we said, man, the Ravens, questionable call. Bottom of the league. They're 1-10 in their last 11 series. A lot of teams were hot to make a change. I mean, OpTic Texas, who just got top 4, decided to make a roster change. Jay, I think I know where you're going to go when it comes down to this, but were you surprised the Ravens didn't make a move for anybody?
Oh, yeah, I was definitely surprised. When you don't have a lot of success, when you're sitting dead last in the league with only 3 series wins, I would think something has to give. But they decided to keep the team together. They probably want to keep the chemistry going and just build on top of that. So into the P2 we go. You have one player toward the back, which is Beans. He's going to set up the pinch. Unfortunately, can't win the gunfight on towards Asim. London doing a great job of just holding it without maintaining spawns. But Boston Breach, they have the numbers. They find the breakthrough shady.
They do for the moment. Currently, it is London with those close spawns, but Beans there to try to knock them all down. Catches another. That's 2 in a row. Now for Big Beans. Jumps right into the line of fire and eventually does get cut down. 30 seconds still to fight for. And now it is Boston with the more preferred side when it comes to spawns. It has been all-out chaos so far at P2. Vivid finally able to finish off that kill before he does hit the dirt. So with that, a minor advantage for Boston Breach as we get ready for P3. And currently, Jay, it is the Ravens running back with their tail between their legs, focused up for new.
Yeah, we have to rotate now. If you are the Ravens, you have to make sure you get a nice little hold on this kitchen hill. Very difficult hill to break indeed, my friend. But 2 players from Boston are going to try to play for these spawns. Trying to push around towards back plat. Asim is at least able to spot 1. Great trigger discipline to not go for the challenge, but Awakening is able to get taken down by that nade. This is where Asim can strike. So far, they're holding on strong. 60-30 in the score line.
And a great gunfight victory there from Asim, now on 4 in a row. We saw yesterday, man, it was Boston Breach doing a phenomenal job on this very map and mode at breaking, especially even in hard points like this. So far, the London Royal Ravens doing a great job of locking things down. However, this fight for Scrapz is going to be an important one. He eventually does drop. 25 seconds still to contest for. Paul X, now the next line of fire. The new wave right now from Ravens has got to hold strong. Asim now extends his spree to 6. And I believe in that process does earn the cruise missile. So needed to be a solid hard point from the Ravens. It absolutely will be that. And now they are threatening to take the lead.
Yeah, that's a great haul right there from the London boys. They were able to basically hold it for a full 60. Nastie now finds himself on a 5 spree. And they do have a couple players early off the rotation. Asim is just flying around. No hesitation on the gameplay. He's got the dead silence. So he's trying to be a superhero. This time you got to slow it down, though. You know your teammate's going to be spawning towards bedroom. The spa spawns are going to come in for Boston. Eventually he does get cut down, but Boston Breach, they do a great job of just maintaining the map control, finding the kills, and hold on to the hill.
And really for Breach, goodness sake, great shot coming in from Nastie. I was going to say for Breach, you just want a moment to breathe for a moment.
Yeah.
That the Ravens are just hunting you down. Straight beams coming in from Nastie. Big Byron eventually will fall, but you've got some streaks to work with if you're the Ravens. Regardless of how this final 20 seconds goes, you can be pretty happy with the fact that you do have some streaks throughout the remainder of this hotel hardpoint. 15 seconds still left. It is an unfortunate team kill that we've seen. Means you got to be careful, buddy. We saw it yesterday. But now rotation's about to be in for restaurant, and Ravens are there early.
Yeah, Ravens are there early. Boston decided to fight for that remaining 15 to 20 seconds. All 4 players are trying to get all that time. Now they're going to be late off the rotation. Viv is going to be the only player here. He gets gunned by Paul X. Great shots from him as London are winning in the trade battle. Only 1 player up is going to be Big Wake. He gets taken care of, and London hold the first push.
So far for the Ravens, they have really come alive throughout these last few hills. We'll see if it can last, as this is going to really be A big hard point to kind of tell us exactly where both teams sit right now. Are the Ravens just not going to fold? Are their holds going to be solid, or will Boston finally be able to get their break? As right now, Nero helps lead the way, and his headshots all the way around. Ravens with close spawns, but finally, the London hold will eventually evaporate. Good opportunity here for Breach.
Yeah, Boston, they're putting a lot of pressure on towards Kitchen, but Scrapz, the cutoff man, trying to maintain the spawns for London, while Steamers is still putting pressure in towards Diner. That's going to be 3 dead. Last player on the point is Beans. They can't sniff him out. He wins a huge one-on-one, but at least if you're London, you maintain the better side of the map going into the next hill. Back and forth hardpoint we have here, Lando. London, they're really stepping up early.
Yeah, I mean, and one thing too is that, you know, it would be understandable if like Beans is still having
there goes the team kill.
Another team kill for Boston, by the way. That's like 6, including their series yesterday. But Beans is playing well, and keeping all things in mind, the Ravens don't really seem to mind. Their holds have been fantastic, and it feels like after the first 2 hardpoints, man, they have been on a mission. It's been nasty. It has been Asim. Scrapz has had his moments, and Paul is trying to get back into the game. London once more reclaimed the lead, but here come the Breach once more.
Yeah, Boston all trying to flood through middle jacuzzi. You have one player in Nero trying to work his way through bottom. Does he spot where Scrapz is playing from the hill? He gets some assistance from his teammates. Now the spawns flip. All of the Ravens going to be swanning out towards front bedroom with only 15 seconds left. You probably just want to chalk this one up. Let's rotate. Let's properly set up around P1. This has been a great back and forth game. London, we're the last team in rotation on this map. You win a couple rotations, you get some good holds, and that's why you see the scoreline that we currently have. 6-point game going to the second rotation of hard points.
And I think one thing that we can absolutely talk about, Jay, when it comes down to the London Royal Ravens is, you know, whenever you are obviously, you know, ranked the worst team in the league, the players know that. And I feel like given the fact that we don't see any roster changes, I mean, an early start, whether it's maps or even just in series, I feel like it has to be there, because it can quickly turn into a spiral effect where the franchise knows it, the players know it, that this is just not going to work out. I think it's fair to say this hardpoint means a lot more for London than it does for Breach.
Yeah, 100%, man. London needs something to bounce back off. They need some kind of confidence, because they just haven't been having a lot of success, especially throughout stage 2. The only victory they had was versus the Vegas Legion, and that was at the very end of the online qualifiers. But other than that, they get smoked at Major II by NYSL, but they have been showing improvements in this hard point. Boston Breach, they won it 3v4 yesterday. With Beans playing the way that he is right now, they are keeping themselves in the game. They are maintaining the spawns over towards next. They're just playing a step ahead right now, Lando.
They are. We'll see if they can keep it up. Again, a big hard point up and ready to go over at P2. We head toward the lobby, and right now Awakening not having the same performance he did yesterday, but just give it time. Big Wake will begin to erupt. Right now at 8 and 11, Nastie, no problem. He's able to drop both Nero and Beans. So now Big Wake has got no teammates to work with, and he's going to continue to watch that score begin to rise for the Ravens as they'll be inside of that objective. He tries to jump on through, trying to be clever with it. The movement rather was solid, and can it open up an opportunity for Nero? Not going to happen, but Beans is still here.
Nastie just took over. He just wanted a 6-3, make it 7. Earns himself another cruise missile. He was holding down that small push and middle single, all forcing Boston Breach to try to overextend through Shandy's side. That's a flawless hold right there from London. This way you put your pedal to the metal. We got to start to rotate. Asim, unfortunately, he's going to get cut down, but Boston Breach got a lot of time to make up. You need a good hold on Kitchen.
We had our questions about the Ravens, and right now they are having a fantastic start to this series. Let's step aside as the streak will come in for Nastie and go to Liston with the Ravens.
I'm going, okay. Wait,
Keep my kitchen on the brown van, Paul. 2 in time.
On the stairs, absolutely behind this wall.
I need it.
He's behind that wall, you should be dead.
Here. He's shouting. One shot now, Paul. Stun him.
Dead.
Nice. 2 in time and then one spawn.
Back door, yeah. I'm in the back door. Side door fast. Go into the back, Manny, back. That door dead.
Nice, there's 2. We have numbers, just push it.
Boxes, tag. I have middle, they're all spawning front. Boxes, really weak. They're all spawning front, guys. One's in boxes. They're all spawning front.
Get my side. I'm on my own. Boxes at a time.
Inside the point. No, I'm dead. There's 2 there. Alright, need me, bro. It's up new.
I spawned now.
3 at all. You knew, yeah?
Yeah. Missing Nero. 3 at all. Yeah, I'm in go.
No one's got top head. No one's got top head. I only have bottom. He's gonna hop up top head, brother.
Listen, I'm just playing gold.
Top head.
One gold to me.
He's top head.
Don't one shot, I choked. He's 1 shot and gold, okay, Nero?
I'm gonna need help here, guys.
Nice, big win, bed. Play on the side.
And the Ravens are spitting hot fire, Lando. This is the dead last thing that we have in the CDL. They are trying to come out with a statement. so far to start off Major 3. They currently have the lead. They're gaining the time. The only thing is Boston Breach have more players in position to try to execute this break.
Do indeed. Scrapz and Paul X will come away with 3. Now make it all 4. Boston Breach falling by the wayside as Ravens are within 25 points of calling game 1 theirs. They've been doubted by everybody in the league, and right now they're trying to prove that they still deserve to be a roster together. Boston are able to break on in. If they grab every single second left, we've got ourselves a tie game. And right now, Jay, the only player who's out of the play is Beans, the only man who was thinking about that rotation.
Oh yeah, Beans the only guy here, and with London picking up that 3 kills, now they're gonna have the numbers off the rotation. So Beans has to now change his positioning up. He has to play his life, play for the kill, try to hold down this kitchen control. As his teammates are gonna go for the strike through the middle of the map. Scrapz is able to take down Beans. Nastie and Paul X combine for 3. London, they find the break. The game's about to be over.
It's about to be over. Vivid and Co, they've got to jump on in. Nero able to do a bit of damage.
Oh, wow.
Beans. It could be Beans. Boston able to jump in for the moment. It's only 2 seconds left for the Ravens. 1 break and this game is theirs, Jay.
That's all they need. That's all they need is 1 break. Let's play it patient. We need to find these kills. 2:30 and counting. Scrapz finds the first. Here we go.
Oh, an Awakening has a few players entering toward his reticle.
Oh no! Oh no!
Once more, who's coming out on top? Boston, they can win it here as the panic begins to set in for the Ravens. Now they're the ones who have to get a move on. It's a tie game, and Boston done it, and yes, they have an unbelievable comeback as they rip the hopes and dreams away for the Ravens. We couldn't give them anything but props throughout the start of that hard point, but Jay, we called it, man. We were at bar with like 20 seconds left. The only guy who had rotated was Beans, and he sees that play through, that comeback through all the way. Let's watch this again.
Oh, we gotta see it again. It was trades back and forth, but Beans at least takes down the last player in Scrapz. So once Boston know that it's all 4 dead, players spawning towards kitchen, everyone turn around. We know that they are coming from Shandy's. This next wave of kills are the biggest ones, as it all starts off with Scrapz finding that first. There's only 3 players left. Beans, Awakening, and Vivid. Awakening gets traded. Vivid finds 1, but Beans is able to find 2. Hold down that push. It's still only 10 seconds. London still have 1 more chance. They just need to open up with a kill. Nastie finds another one. This is where you have to go, go, go. You have the numbers. You have to play the trades, but too many angles you have to check. Boston Breach did not get nervous in the moment. They were able to hold strong. After a very sloppy hardcore from them from start to finish, London were winning a majority of those rotations, but they clutch up at the very end of that hard point, and that one's got to be devastating for the Raven boys. You saw Asim. He was instantly out of his chair, man.
And I don't blame him. I mean, my goodness, it was just, it looked like it was theirs. I mean, for sure. Oh, my goodness. That is a frustrating loss if you are the London Royal Ravens. A 2-point hard point game. And today, a much better performance coming in from the rookie. Beans, 26 and 22. As we said, does a great job at going for that early rotation toward Diner. Gets the most hill time really across the entirety of this scoreboard. More than Paul X by a second. A great job all the way around for Breach to stay composed. But that has got to tilt you, man. We were talking so highly about London. Like, they looked fantastic. Yeah. The comms were excellent. Nastie was going on streaks. Just a fumble indeed.
That's definitely a fumble, my friend. Like, now you just got to go back. I know Asim was instantly out of his chair. You got to take a breather, man. You got to let this one go, because that's a map you guys should have won. Communication was there. The game plan was there. Winning a majority of your rotation just came down to those final moments, those key gunfights. You couldn't win the trade battle and hold on for the last 2 seconds to close out the map number 1. So obviously in this situation, Boston Breach, all momentum on their side. What an insane comeback in that map number 1. But going into this map number 2, we heard the desk talk on it. This is where Ali thinks they had the best chance at taking a map versus Boston Breach. The only thing is, we saw Boston play this yesterday, and they pretty much dominated Toronto Ultra. The SMGs had a really big presence. It was Vivid and Nero back-to-back 3 pieces on multiple rounds, and then Beans, he puts up a 1.4. He did have that sniper in hand. He was hitting some crazy shots. Boston Breach had the ability to go up 2-0 here, but London, they need a response now.
Jay, how did you had a situation like that happen whenever you're up in a game and then you lose it in a heartbreaking fashion? How did you regain moving into the next map?
Oh, brother, you're just sitting there like, it's all good, guys. That one should have been ours. We've been putting a lot of time. We should have took that map number 1. We should be up 1-0 in this series. So that's how they all have to look at it. We should be up 1-0 in this series. Let's go into the search and destroy, and let's plan to potentially have gone up 2-0 and tie this one up, because you got to just completely forget it. That's a devastating loss in that opening hard point. Obviously, the team hasn't had a lot of success, but search and destroy is where they usually are able to bank on to try to get back into the series.
Yeah, without a doubt. It's just so funny that you said that. It's like, guys, it's all good. All right, it's fine.
It's all good,
it's
guys.
Fine. We just had a total collapse. The timeline's exploding at the fact that Beans was able to stay alive. It's fine. Yeah. Let's just rebound coming into the search and destroy. But like we said, man, these early maps, these early opportunities for the Ravens are huge, considering that everybody is now taking an even closer look at them. I think it was Puckett who touched on it at the top of the show. We had 4 teams make roster changes coming into Major 3, and it felt like London should be the first team on that list to actually make a roster change. They decided to roll with it moving into Major 3. You start off with a hardpoint loss like that, you definitely need a rebound nice and early. But if there is something to take away, again, going back to the comms, the listening that we had with the Ravens, I really liked what I was hearing from Nastie. I feel like that guy was really stepping up in a major way. I know we've seen glimpses of him, you know, throughout his year in the CDL, you know, rookie last season in Vanguard. He's really the last man who's been a part of this OG London team, and maybe recognizing, Jay, that he's got to be the in-game communicator, the big voice for this team moving forward.
Yeah, he's got to be the big voice and the big slayer. I remember in the beginning of the season when London went 2-0 during week 1, Nastie was one of the best players in the game. He was doing whatever he wanted with the VASNAP, with the TAC 56, the M4 at the time, but he's a guy that has that takeover ability. We saw a little bit in that map. Number 1, multiple threes, like you said. Picked up 2 to 3 cruise missiles throughout that entire hard point. Just couldn't find that last hold. So I'm really looking at Nastie to keep that pace going into the search and destroy alongside Asim, because Asim has been their guy in S&D. We saw him drop 17 on a map. Unfortunately for him, it's not the map that we're going to be playing in this map number 2, but still good for him. He has a 1.85 on hotel search and destroy. So really look at Asim to set the tone.
Absolutely, man. I mean, there's been so many tweets talking about, you know, unfortunately so, but it's like, hey, you know, can we get Asim some help? Like, can we get this guy something? Because there's been so many people who have talked about the Ravens, and it's like, it feels like this guy is really the bright spot for them. And I know our stats team did a phenomenal job of trying to break it down, almost give us a chance at like, how could London come away with this series? And as you called it, partner, he's had some unbelievable performances in search destroy so far throughout the season, and I believe he's got like a 1.85 KD on hotel search destroy specifically. So couldn't agree with you more. He is definitely always the guy to look out for, but specifically at hotel search destroy, he has been the beacon for their success.
Yeah, man, I really do love Asim as a player, man. He's a guy that just simply wants to get it done however it has to be done. If he has to sit on the hill, he would do that. If he has to slay in certain situations, he will do that. He's a guy that would just lay it all out on the field for his team to try to get a victory. You see the stats so far this season, overall 1.05 KD. They've only won 3 series, guys, and he's still maintaining the 19th best KD in the league. The guy is just a great player, a phenomenal player, Mr. Do-It-All, man. I really do love his gameplay. I'm excited to see what he's able to do in the search and destroy, if he's able to drop those bombs like he usually does.
Yeah, without question. We've been talking a lot about the London Royal Ravens. I do want to transfer the conversation, though, over to Boston Breach, right? You're off of a great Game 1 victory, and then you're moving into, as we said, a hotel search destroy. You saw this yesterday, right? And what they were able to do on it, Jay, was fantastic. There was a lot of people who came in saying, you know what, Beans could fit in very well with this roster, and a lot of that focus was around search destroy. He could take that sniper away from Vivid, and we saw him very early on yesterday versus Toronto doing a very good job now with that role.
Yeah, and it's so difficult too, because a lot of these angles that he was taking are very, very tight angles with that sniper, but the young man is confident, very energetic guy. I really do love the character of Beans. Yesterday we saw him in his interview, man. He was so talkative, so energetic, man. I'm so excited to see this young player prosper into developing into his deeper career, into his pro career. The guy is just hilarious, man. I really enjoy his gameplay. Obviously not the best performance in his debut, but he bounced back in that map number 1 nice and early.
Yeah, without a doubt. And, you know, it's understandable, too, because you just got so many players who are coming into the league now with so much pressure. I mean, we could have a totally different conversation, and you and I will, about Dan Ghosty and OpTic Texas, but there's a lot of people who are saying, you know, Beans, he's the future of EU COD. He has got the chance to be one of the best players in the game. You don't hear those conversations a lot, especially as a rookie player who has pretty much zero experience when we talk about the professional side of things.
especially coming from the European side. That's no shade to my European players, but it's usually not like that. You know, it's always usually an NA player. One player stands out from somewhere else, like Pred with Australia. Like, the guy's a demon. Like, we know this, but it's so great to see Beans where he was able to level up from coming from challenges, playing with Doug, Sensor, Martin, getting those reps in. Like, when you play with Doug, good friend of mine, you can basically go out there and get every single kill you want. So he was putting up some insane stats throughout challengers, and so far he did it. Not the best yesterday, but in that map number 1 he did in today's series, he did a phenomenal job. Just in this search and destroy, you got to make sure that you're getting those first bloods. That's the biggest thing that stood out for me yesterday. 63 versus Toronto. You close out the game 6-3. That has to be a big factor for Boston.
Yeah, man, if I honestly, I'll be honest, the number one thing that I took from what you just said there is that Sensor is doing something right in challengers. Like,
yeah.
We're talking
Mr.
about
Do It All, another guy.
How Dan Ghosty was like rooming with him. He like invited him to his house. We're talking about he was playing with Beans. He just knows how to manifest talent. I even saw somebody yesterday, Jay, back in like Ghost. They're like, yeah, I mean, Formal's first player that he really teamed with was Sensor. Or first team that he teamed with was Sensor back on like one of those FaZe Red, FaZe Black teams. So I'll tell you what, man, Sensor, he just knows how to do it. I'd definitely be looking out for some of the teammates that he's got rocking right now in challengers. They could be next on up. But guys, we are going to throw it to a quick little commercial break. We do apologize for the bit of a delay, but don't worry. We got Hotel Search Destroy between Boston and London coming up right after this.
What's up, everybody? Welcome in. We got a jam-packed house, and it is gonna be an epic day of Call of Duty.
Planes get canceled, luggage get lost, but it don't matter, okay? Because I got the hottest fans in the game here with me.
Can you hear my heartbeat pounding?
Y'all ready to get the matches going?
OpTic, without question, have the edge.
What have we just seen?
Joey D, what can you tell me about the Thieves right now?
They are world champions for a reason.
Minnesota, when they get dialed in, they will pull out their sneaky tricks. FaZe group, a squad that everyone would always just put automatically into the finals. It's been bitter cold out there in Boston. But Mother Nature's got nothing on these Call of Duty loving Homo sapiens.
Here we go, threads the needle.
Here he comes! What a ridiculous storyline we've had here.
Down and down we go.
Thieves lose to OpTic in the very first match of the tournament. Now we see them 9 straight victories.
I don't forgive, I don't forget, I don't regret. You do me wrong, I'll tag along. Like a hit song, you can turn on.
This is going to be an epic rematch, a chance for redemption if you're the LA Thieves. FaZe, they've been booed, they've been the villains, and yet they still are putting up win after win.
We've checked the forecast. The drought has ended. It has been an entire title since Atlanta FaZe lifted a trophy. And my God, how good it must feel for these players to have come so far. Atlanta FaZe, your Major II champions.
I'll give you bad, I'll give you bad.
How's it going, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the first series of the day. By the way, major shout out to whoever made that video. That was absolutely fantastic, highlighting some of the greatest moments from the Boston Major. Texas, we're coming, but we got some work to do before we get there. Jay, I want to highlight our maps and modes before we jump into this Hotel Search and Destroy. Talk to me, man. I mean, after a loss like that for London, is there hope that they could make a comeback considering the rest of the set that we got here?
Well, the thing that really scares me is that they've only found success on one map in Control, and that's not in this series. Hotel is not going to be there. El Asilo, they're sitting at 0-1. And then as we go forward, if they do force that map number 4, Mercado, they are 11th in rotations. On a map like Mercado Hardpoint, if you're not rotating, you're not going to win the game. So you have to make sure you fix that. They showed a little bit that in that map number 1, but you just have to get some energy back because you saw what Boston Breach were able to do, man. Obviously, a little bit of break here, so momentum is not going to be as high, but you got to be feeling really confident still getting the victory that Boston Breach was able to get in that map number 1.
Yeah, and you got to be happy as well as we take a look, at the new roster coming into Major 3. The Beans was able to at least have a solid hard point, right? We know that he was great in the S&D yesterday, but the hard points weren't so good in his debut. Finished with like a 0.54 combined overall KD in the hard points yesterday, but like we said in the Search Destroy, he was lighting it up. 7-5 performance in those opening duels, oftentimes with the sniper out. He was the difference maker, and that could be something where if you're the Ravens, you're looking at trying to have an answer. And like we said, Ali talked about, this is their opportunity. This is London's best chance to get back to the Search Destroy. Beans could be the guy that steps in their way.
Yeah, because Beans is the guy that usually is solo playing over towards that B bomb. You probably have a player that's sitting towards bottom bedroom in Vivid or Nero, but usually those guys are taking that mid-map control. So if you can solo out Beans, you know he's going to have that sniper in hand. Just try to get super aggressive towards bedroom. Take him down, get that bomb down as fast as you possibly can, and then play your setups correctly. He's a big impact. You cannot allow him to pick you guys apart, especially when you're jumping on these head glitches with that snipe, because then at that point, you're going to slow down. You now have to even up the numbers, try to make a play, and at that point, it might not be that much time left on the clock since you were still so worried about Beans. So he's a big impact on this map, but it has to be the SMGs as well, man. Vivid and Nero, like I said earlier, those guys are getting 3 pieces left and right on this map. Like, Nero put on an absolute clinic with that SMG in hand versus Toronto. So I just think if you are London, momentum has to be on point. Asim and Nastie really have to set the tone.
Yeah, they definitely do, as we'll see. A quick little look, actually, at the ending of that last hard point. We got to take a look at our scuff play of the game for just joining us. You missed a good one. You missed a good finish here on Hotel Hardpoint. Jay, I tell you what, man, it just feels like Hotel is like the new Tuscan. I mean, in terms of just the crazy and wild plays. We're talking about how, the crazy P1 finishes. This year it is Restaurant on this very map and mode. A crazy, crazy comeback here for the Breach Boys.
And the thing that I was just looking at is that they open up with the first kill, right? They all have mid-map control. You have connectors, you have Shandy's side. When you get that first kill of the player on top catwalk, you should probably pinch towards kitchen so that you can spawn Boston all the way across the map so you keep that man advantage. But since they did not decide to flip those spawns, not decide to pick up that pinch, that's what eventually allows Boston to spawn up towards kitchen, instantly flood forward, and just consistently play those trades. I think if you're London, probably in the heat of the moment, communication was very high. Everybody's probably talking a little bit frantic. But in that situation, you just need one break. We need to all come down, execute this one play, and the map would have been theirs. But they couldn't do it. Boston Breach. Still, we're able to clutch on up.
Yeah, they were indeed. Solid W in the books there for the Boston Breach. Again, chatting about the Royal Ravens. One of the more questionable moves throughout the off-season, or not the off-season, but I guess you could say the off-season that we had in preparation for Major 3 was the fact that this team does not make any moves. We talked about it. We stressed it, Jay. This 4-man lineup, if you're going to keep it together, that early success has to be there. Job number 1 is closing out hard points. They don't do that. A loss here in Search Destroy, I think it's fair to say, man, could very well spell disaster.
Oh, yeah, that's the thing, man. It's because, like, London, okay, they're like 50-50 in hard points, overall record of 10-11, but the S&D has been their best KMO control. They basically stand no chance if it's not Hotel. So you have to be able to win your Search and Destroys versus some of these teams, especially some of the higher echelon teams that we have in the league. Boston Breach just coming off a roster change. Their strats shouldn't be on point that much. They played the map once with this new roster. Obviously, we don't know what it's like on the back end when it comes to practice, but you have that one rep where you're able to go back, do your homework, see how they like to play their setup, so you can basically try to fully blind counter it. Solo out a certain player, just make the game a lot easier for your team.
And if there's somebody that you're looking out for the London Royal Ravens, I know we chatted about a few different guys for the Boston Breach side, whether it's Beans or it's the, fast-paced SMGs for the Breach and Nero and Vivid. Is there somebody that you're looking out for in this Search Destroy or throughout the remainder of the series to try to lead the charge at a comeback here for London?
If you think about when London picked up that victory versus Vegas, the main guy that really set the tone, that took over the game in the respawns and in the search and destroy, it was all about Scrapz, man. Like, Scrapz is a guy. He was an MVP caliber player when he first started to play Call of Duty. When the CDL first started, he was that guy, man. And now we saw what Asim and Nastie are capable of. But if Scrapz can take his gameplay to a whole different level, he's a guy that can take over the game. So I'm looking at Mr. Matty Marshall, my guy, to turn it up a level.
Without a doubt, man. I mean, we know the level that Scrapz has been on previously. This guy has, you know, one of the more storied careers throughout COD history. Excited to see him back in the CDL. We'll see if he can try, as we said, and lead the charge to a Ravens comeback. Before we do that, folks, we got to take a look at a few things. If you have not already gone to the CDL shop, you absolutely need to do so. And Jay, if you're picking one of these hoodies out of these four, which one are you grabbing? I know what it is.
Come on, man. Come on, man. You know where I'm going. New York, baby. Hold up. I need to get this. Where am I getting this from? Shop.callofdutyleague.com. Oh, yeah. I got to go get that, brother. Those are clean, man. These are the first time I see these.
I know. These are looking great. I heard Bryce talk about how he's already ordered like 8 of the London Royal Ravens sweatshirts.
Nice. Nice.
So, Bryce, feel free, buddy. You know my address, potentially. You can go and toss me one over. That would be fantastic. Also, you got to talk about this one, too. Make sure and grab those team packs. You can look like the guys, you know, outside of the game. You can also look like them inside of the game. Jay, are you rocking any team skins and ranked right now?
Oh, yeah. I recently just played some rank with my guy, Nadeshot. So he hooked it up with a code for the LA Thieves. So I've been rocking that LA Thieves. You know, they had a crazy run at Major 2. Could have closed it out in the final. But then yesterday, they also slipped up, man. They're just not an online team. But their skin is clean, man. Clean.
They are, man. They are indeed. I got shot by somebody using a Minnesota Røkkr skin earlier, so
nice.
I'm not using that one right now. That's on that guy who was with me in bronze too. I hate to shout out my rank, but that's just the way that it is, folks. We do apologize for the bit of a break that we're having right now, but we will have that search destroy up very soon. Thank you for your patience. We'll see you in a moment.
welcome to the Call of Duty League Major 2 coming at you from Beantown alongside the Charles River. It's going to be bitter cold, so keep your gloves on, stay in your car until last minute, and then we'll welcome you all in and we'll have our corn dogs ready, right, Joey D?
Yeah, we're having corn dogs?
Yeah, and little chicken nuggets, dino nuggets.
This is a great update.
There's a lot of watch parties going on. Sethy Poo, I saw you. That mustache is looking good. I just want to take my fingers and tickle that thing. Little caterpillar. Is that too much?
Do you want to tickle it, or do you want him to tickle you with it?
Yes, that part.
Can you pass on a message to him? Say to aBeZy, he's looking great today.
You as well. You too.
What a guy.
I know.
Can I have the water bottle? Yeah, just get one more of this.
Water. Josh, don't roll your eyes at me.
I'm going with the purple team because I like horns.
Okay, for me, I'm a... Straight up, what did you eat for breakfast? Because I'm trying to be like you.
Tacos, to be honest. I mean, I was munching.
I don't understand anything.
I'm not really a hype man anymore like the old days. I used to be. I'm starting loud. Dad!
Safety first. It is 4 degrees. It is -4, it feels like, with the wind chill, so be careful.
I've never been late to an event before with the weather in Dallas, the ice and stuff. I just got here last night. I know you were missing me.
You should have walked, dude. Your patch is just not there, I guess.
They wouldn't let me out.
That's what I guess. I don't know.
I thought that I was going to be the only person going for this team, but it's a full desk. I'm going for Boston Breach too.
There we go.
I would pick Boston, and yeah, you know what? I'm going to stay on it. That's what I'm doing, because I like my security guard, but I don't trust him.
No, I think he heard you. I just don't think he heard you. You know
No, I heard you. I just didn't hear you.
He heard, but he didn't hear.
I heard you, but I didn't hear you. I was kind of locked in.
We're partying right now. The lights went out.
Oh, wow. Felt Joe's mustache. So,
Well, you better say it officially, because it's going on a graphic. You guys are so loud.
That's good. I want you to hear me. No. That's a name and a half. I'll be the one to say.
Whose name is that?
It's MC's.
The unkillable demon's name.
Also known as Frank.
You have a slight mistake there as well. Boston Breach, don't plant the bomb in a position that can be easily spotted. There's a stretch on it.
Mercado.
Time to take this tape off.
What's up?
I just want to say one thing too. I can't wait to save Ben's head, so I'm excited.
Boston, you all were incredible. Thank you for the vibes. You set the tone all weekend.
guys, and welcome back. It has been some time, but we hope that you all are still doing well. Boston Breach, London Royal Ravens. Let's get that hype back up. Game 2. Search Destroy is about to come up. What is it again, Jay? I forgot. Hotel, I think?
It's hotel. Yeah, we're back at backstage at the hotel, man. But yeah, get the energy back. You know, we just had an insane hard point in that map, number 1. A little bit of delay, but we are finally back. Here we go into the game 2. Search and Destroy. London need to respond to make it a series.
Oh, I like your vibe.
Like that?
Now, Jay.
That's energy, baby.
Nice and spicy. Wish my red teammates had that kind of excitement right now.
I don't think you're having good. Bronze too, brother. I don't know if you're getting teammates at all, brother. Oh, good, man. We got to grind a little bit.
Jay, I think I have a better chance of winning the lottery than at any point hitting top 250. That is without a doubt. Anyway, let's jump into round 1. Hotel Search Destroy. Here we go. Boston Breach, they're up 1-0. As we said, after a crazy Hotel hardpoint victory. Into the round we go. And it is Scrapz starting things off, cutting away a very, very pesky SMG in Nero.
Yeah, that's a very big kill because we know Nero likes to set the tone nice and early into these S&Ds. Taking him down now relieves a lot of that pressure, but London, so far their game plan is just to fake their way over towards B, get them to rotate towards that side of the map, and get a free bomb plant over towards A. So this is a flawless game, flawless play call as the bomb is going to get down. Now Boston have to retake 4v3.
Yeah, Boston pretty much play breach and clear over at the kitchen to nothing. Yeah, absolutely nothing. So with that, London, a free plant. They've got man count advantage, and now they've got the timer working in their favor also. We'll see what the breach retake can look like. If Vivid is tagged up and dropped, it's going to make it that much more difficult. Asim focused up, ironed up as well. Is he going to be ready for the gun engagement? No, he's not. First pick, able to go to Vivid. Here come Boston once more. However, it's all down to Beans and Vivid. 2v2.
2v2. Scrapz is trying to hold that flank through single. Paulux is going to be on you to check this site. Dead Silence is going to get invested by both players. Take down the most important one, and that was Beans on towards the site. Scrapz eventually finds the second. Almost got scary. I don't know how Asim didn't spot him go to his right. I thought he saw him cross from the mid connector, but just doesn't react to it as Vivid. He was able to take him down, but the rest of the defense for London, they were ready for the push. He got the bomb down. It was only 15 seconds left, so some player from Boston had to commit towards the defuse. You take that player down, eventually find the final trade. London take round 1.
Solid job for the Ravens. I mean, as we said, they find that opening pick on Nero. They bait as if they're going toward the diner, and then from there, as we said, for Boston Breach, totally faked out. Solid opening round here for the Ravens. Talked a lot about composure. They definitely had some time to refocus coming into this search and destroy. However, Scrapz gets beamed off the rip. So we're trading in first bloods. Now it is Boston starting things off with a nice and early double. Nastie, realizing such, has to quickly get out of dodge.
Yeah, 4v2, Nastie and Paulux. Paulux trying to spot these players rotating back towards middle. He's able to at least make it a 2v3, but now they know his positioning. This is where you have all your players go for the challenge. You would just have to find the trade. Paulux is at least able to take down Bees, but Nastie in the 1v2.
Oh, and they've done this perfectly. Yeah, I was going to say he has dead silence for the moment. Now it's time for the gun engagement on to Nero. Is this about to be a 2v4? Nero has not moved, and it will be. Perfect work there from Paul X and Nastie. And you can tell by the smirks on their face, Jay, they know how big of a clutch that was.
Oh, that was a massive clutch out of Paul X and Nastie. Paul X did everything he can to find all the kills through the middle of the map. All the players from Boston knew exactly where he was. They just couldn't take him down until he took down 2 of their own. Then once you find it in the 2v1, Nastie with the dead silence, able to get behind enemy lines, find the first kill on the flank. Puts a couple shots onto Nero to keep him stagnant, to keep him standing still, focusing on one angle. Dead silence pop. He's able to find a final kill. London, great in the 2v4.
A great reply so far in this S&D. As we said last time around, it was a fake over at B. Boston bit. Will it be the same case this time around? Is Nero happy to play a bit more passively as he'll be hanging out inside of the kitchen? Here come the stuns. Here come the tax, the utility, everything tossed. Nero doing his best to try to distance them back as far as possible. All 8 players still up, and Ravens, they could be going for the rotation now.
Oh, yeah, Ravens, they knew. There's multiple players in towards B. It's not going to be easy to break in towards kitchen. So should I wrap this one back and have a player play on an island, which is Asim, waiting for anyone to try to push through on the side of Boston. As Beans is the only guy over towards the safe site, gets a little bit of assistance from Vivid. But is he's able to spot that player on towards the bomb, he can't get it down now.
And you see to the top side of the screen as well, this has just been a 1v1 for the last 30 seconds. Both players not looking to engage. Beans, first line of defense, now over at that A site. Continuing to keep the Ravens off, and now the timer begins to come into effect. Nobody has yet to drop. 25 seconds left to go. Vivid's able to poke away at one. Meanwhile, Asim, who was out of the fight, now looks to get involved. But Jay, the bomb has been dropped. This one's got to get planted soon, and Boston have constant eyes everywhere on Overwatch now as Nastie will fall. Boston Breach are able to answer finally.
Yeah, Boston Breach, they just read the game plan right there from the London Royal Ravens. They put 2 players over towards that B site. Nero did a great job of backing him down with it, with his tax. Then you force them to rotate, run right into the pre-aims of Vivid and Beans. Eventually sets up Awakening to find the final 2 in the final play. Boston finally get one on the board. London, they just wasted a lot of time right there. I felt like they wanted to wait for Asim to try to make a play on the flank, but Vivid just did a great job of just making sure no one could make that play happen. He held the flank, was able to take him down, and eventually secured the round for Boston.
Vivid looked great yesterday in the hotel search destroyed. Now with that sniper out of his hands, feel more confident, ready to progress nice and early into 3 rounds. He is currently tied for the most kills right now in the lobby, most for his team. See if he can keep that up, as right now it is the new guy, Beans, with the bomb on his back. And right now, those green arrows are pretty much scattered across the map. We've got a little bit of noise being made over at B, when in reality, the plant's about to happen at A. Will Paul X check this in time? Yes, he does. But Beans, clever with the movement, manages to stay alive.
That's good moves right there from Beans. Stay alive in this situation. And Nero, it's your turn to strike. Was almost able to take down Beans off of that bomb. Asim's trying to get an angle, but cannot pick it up. A trophy is going to be planted. So in the 3v4, pay attention to your mini-map. As Nero finds the second, you have one player in Vivid all the way out the play. He's trying to be the safety net, working his way all the way to the deep flank.
You got 2 players on flanks. Rip the snap out of Awakening. Didn't have a great hard point, but he is turning up right now in S&D. Scrapz of 1v3 clutch. Not going to happen this time for the Ravens. And I got to say, Jay, that was just very, very good work out of both Beans and Nero on that bomb site.
Yeah, the teamwork was flawless right there from Boston, because once you got Nero pushed up towards the plat steps, Beans, with the great movement, was able to get that information of where Paul X is playing. Paul X tries to reposition towards top bed. He eventually gets picked. So then you can get the bomb down. You have 2 teammates who are working their way through middle. One player in Vivid knows that no one went through the late flank through Diner. So you take that side of the map. You work your way all the way around. Now you get all the information where London are attacking from. Someone has to be flanking. Someone's playing solo towards bed. You pick them both apart. You win the round. Boston 2-2.
Far. Surprising start for Asim as the beams are out. Well, for Beans. Great work there for him, as we'll see if the Ravens can try to rebound right now in the 3v4. One of the worst teams in the CDL in spots like this. But thankfully, team is able to get on the board. He'll cut away Nero so that difficulty becomes that much easier. And meanwhile, it's Paul X who finds a streaking Vivid. So that will help things out dramatically.
Yeah, once you get that information, taking down Vivid, you know no players have to be over towards this B bomb, as London are able to make control of the middle of the map, find the final 2 kills. Great in the 3v3 to just play it super patient. You know Boston are going to try to make a play happen. Right there, if you are the Breach, just force them to plant, man. Hold your sights down. You had 2 players over towards the middle map, over towards that B side, 1 player towards A. Vivid, let's just calm down there. You find yourself towards top desk. You got a great position just in case they decide to rat back. But he decides to just push on forward. Paul X takes him down, and then everybody else crumbles after that. London respond, now up 3-2.
Yeah, we talked about a lot of teams, you know, making adjustments. Obviously, with the Boston Breach, they're doing that with a new team. We've already talked about it for the Ravens. You know, not sitting great in a lot of game modes out there in terms of certain situations. As we said, 3v4s not great in historically. They're able to clutch one out there. Now up 3-2 in our search destroy. As it's back to attack for the Boston Breach, but Asim has found himself quickly on the flank. I didn't even see him on my mini-map, Jay, and Boston had no idea that that one was coming. Asim has come alive.
Yeah, they've realized that Boston like to do the 2-2 split, so you take mid-map control, you pop your dead silence, you're able to get it behind enemy lines and find that first blood. And the 3v4 just forced them to bomb plant. You see that Scrapz is playing all the way deep towards back plat. As Vivid, eventually the player on flank is able to line up 2. Can't find the third, but at least makes it a manageable play. 2v2 now.
It does. I think for Boston, they were just looking out. Where is everybody hiding? They're all in the middle of the map. As now it gets brought to a 1v2. Nero, with a bit of information, needs to find Scrapz, get away with his life. Job done. But still has that bomb still to attain. 20 seconds to go. And for Asim, who's been so solid in situations like this so far, can he keep it up? Time continues to tick. He's got to lay down this objective. Is Asim going to check this, or is he going to allow for the plant to go off? Can the timing work out, or will Nero manage to escape? He does. He's able to escape, but goes for the gun engagement, and it is once more Asim coming away with the kills. An 0-4 start. Now has won his last 4 fights. It starts with him. It ends with him. Ravens on top again.
Great patience right there from Asim, man. He knows that he can only commit towards one bomb. That dead silence runs out right there for Nero, so you get a couple sound cues that he's on that side of the map. Use that nade to force him to reposition from behind that box and made the gunfight a little bit easier. Great patience, great awareness. Way to control that round from Asim. Now London, 2 rounds in a row, up 4-2.
You said Asim needed to turn it up, and well, he absolutely has, Jay. I think it's fair to say.
He's a game changer.
Awoken. He's awoken. He got up from his chair a little earlier in the hard point. He is regained, and he's feeling good. Ravens with the opportunity to go up 5-2. And we'll see what the strategy attempts to be. Beans has brought out the sniper. Oh, and he the snap from him.
What a shot right there from Beans to snipe him through the drapes. Like, that was a crazy shot. Already a 3v4. At least they find him, take him down, and Nastie evens it up. What a shot from Nastie to make it a 3v2. Bomb is getting planted. Boston have their hands full. 2v2 now.
I got to see that from Nastie's POV. That was
nasty.
Objective down. However, I was going to say, beautiful red hair has been spotted. Awakening. He's got some information in his sights. However, he has lost Nero. But Awakening, it just feels like he has a new level of confidence in situations like that. Get some tags in, but the Ravens continuing to roll. That's now 3 rounds in a row. And once more, man, it is Nastie making the crazy, crazy plays.
Nastie with some great shots to find that 2-piece. I just think if you're in Boston in that situation, Beans hits a crazy shot to get that first blood, forcing the bomb plant. No one should be overextending. No one should be throwing shoulders at anything to give up their life for free, because now you have everything that you want. First blood, they have to plant towards either side. You know that they're definitely not going to commit towards B, but just force them to make the play. Force them to push across through your crosshairs, make the gunfights a little bit more difficult. Nastie just picks them apart, and now London are at game point.
Guaranteed, we're about to have a good old headbutt in the middle of the map, and it's trades across the board, but it's working out quite nicely for the Ravens. It becomes a shooting gallery, as now it is all up to Vivid. A 1v2. However, he is now
to
a 1v1 versus Scrapz. It will be a 1v3 clutch if he can manage to grab it. Dead silence, as now he begins to run on in toward the kitchen. Is he going to be expecting Scrapz? He spots him. Oh, but Maddie is able to take it. A near 1v3 clutch, but it's frustration is all that you get if you are the Boston Breach, as Ravens close it out in game number 2 with 4 rounds in a row.
That was just a perfect game plan right there from the Raven boys, man. Taking map control. You saw Boston. They had success on it. One attacking round where they just flew out towards middle and were able to win all those gunfights. But London said, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice. Not going to happen again. Fully prepared for that mid push as they all ironed up. Found every single kill. Almost got scary because Vivid into 1v3. He's had a bunch of those in his career so far, but Scrapz plays it beautifully. Both players had that silent. Scrapz wraps back all the way towards back. Kitchen reads the play beautifully and eventually takes down Vivid to close out this search and destroy. London tie the series up at 1, man. You got to be feeling good for the London boys. Very close map number 1. Clutch up in the search and destroy. They've shown some improvements so far.
I mean, they should absolutely be up 2-0 in this series.
Without question, my friend.
Considering the way that Hotel Hardpoint ended, they should have came into this search destroy with a point to prove, and regardless, they lose the opening hardpoint, but they answer back in the S&D in a dominant way. Scrapz able to help, as we said, lead the team to a nice game, to victory. We saw some great moments. We saw that crazy 2v4 from Paul X and Nastie. Asim, after starting off 0-4, managed to go on that 4 spree. And I don't know, Jay, I mean, as you said, he started to learn. He started to adapt the things that we were seeing from Boston, the 2-2 split across the map. And it makes you wonder if London was up late last night watching a bit of the VOD for the Breach boys.
Yeah, definitely watching a little bit of VOD, but also understanding that mid-round adjustments need to come on in. You get those early couple of rounds to get a feel of how they want to play the map. But then you see on their attacking rounds, Nero's the aggressor towards B, followed up by Beans with that bomb. And the other two guys, you haven't seen them on that side of the map, so it has to be a 2-2 split. They read the setup beautifully. They perfectly countered it. As Asim pops that dead silence to get behind enemy lines, Boston just simply didn't have a game plan. You saw that last round? 4 mid. Well, let's try something, man. London was just completely blank counting them the entire time. Boston were not prepared for it.
Yeah, a great answer for the Ravens. We'll see what they have prepared for us when it comes down to this next control. We said the sense of urgency has got to be there. They need early success. They have a crazy opening hardpoint loss, but they rather have a great performance in that search destroy. We come back after the break. We're headed to control for some of CeeLo. Make sure and stay with us.
The Call of Duty League is presented by the GMC Hummer EV Pickup, the world's first all-electric super truck. Upgrade your game with the Scuff, the official controller of the Call of Duty League.
Howdy, COD fans, and welcome back. Our first series of the day is getting ready to jump into the swing mode. Control on aBeZy between Boston Breach and the London Royal Ravens. We had to wait a while to see what the result would be in Hotel Search and Destroy, but the Ravens came out firing. As we jump into Control now, Jay, what are your expectations? What's the result going to be? I need a prediction.
Well, Boston Breach, they have a nice little record on this map, sitting at 3-1, the second best attacking team that we have. And on the opposite side for London, they've only played it once, and they got slammed, 0-3. Well, so it's the stats are saying they're dead last in attacking rounds and defense, but the series has told us anything. London came to play today. They are being able to keep up in the sling, so majority of that all in control. It's all about these kills, 30-30, and already starting off hot as Paul X and Nastie are able to find two.
Well, you're telling me there's a chance, and that makes me excited. Ravens will kick things off on the attacking side. On aBeZy, really, it's pretty much a mixed bag. You can go toward A if you want. You can also hit up B. That's the beauty of it. Not a fortress by any stretch of the imagination. You can win attacks. Believe it or not, it is possible. Scrapz, oh, he just got the best timing in the world, just acting like a statue as he tries to lead the charge now over toward that B zone. A few players in ear's distance. What it specifically is going to be Vivid. But thankfully for the Ravens, you'll take a pretty slow effort right now as you desperately try to grab some map positioning. Scrapz able to find one, cannot find the other. But as we said, does make a bit of a dent in the setup, and now it's up to Nastie to make some plays happen.
Nastie's trying to make plays happen with that SMG, putting pressure over towards this B side, but London, they had all the map control, but nothing to show for it. Boston Breach, they cut them all four down. Now with only 20 seconds left, all the spawns for London towards back white. You have to sprint forward. You have to be able to stop this clock as they're trying to get over towards that B point. Vivid's just trying to time this flank. He gets red, and this might be the opening. London have the potential to stop the clock. We just got to get on one of these points, man. Go to one of them.
Oh, no, what?
There you go.
Okay, he gets cut down. We've got a few Ravens players now making a bit of a surge towards that A zone. It looked like nobody was going to get there in time. But thankfully for them, the clock has been paused, Awakening has been flanked, and that objective begins to fly. They managed to do it. Another minute on the clock and a chance to close out our opening attack. As we said, Jay, got a little worrisome, got a little scary right there for Ravens. Things slowed down and really nobody was there to make a play. Thankfully, they're able to do it now, but they got to be careful because that time is running fast.
Yeah, it's only 45 seconds left. At least you have two players pushed up on the opposing side of the map. Just have to play for your kills if you are Asim. Trying to dance around the map in towards BS, and D we go. Just gonna play his life, but he eventually gets sniffed out, and you see the map positioning right now from Boston. You're pushed out towards white. You have full tank control. You're getting those close spawns to make sure you save B. This has been a flawless hold on the defensive end at this B point.
But I gotta say, Jay, I mean, our observers are doing a phenomenal job, but I don't feel like we should be seeing every single gunfight for London. It feels like there's not a whole lot of team shells going on right now. Lots of solo fights.
Yeah.
And with those final 10 seconds coming about, we'll see if the Ravens can maybe start to put things together. There's no time like the present, but if you're Ravens, you gotta go. Somebody thankfully hops on the point, but okay, all four of them will drop. Great job for Boston to be able to regain, and at least if you're Ravens, what started off as a horrible round, at least they'll walk away with 3 segments.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Like London, they did a great job of just fighting for mid-map control, but in those final moments, they were able to at least complete that 8 point, take those 3 segments going forward into this map. Now, if you are Boston Breach, you need to respond, and they usually do so on the attacking round. Second best team that we have on this map. Let's see how they get it done. Awakening so far, he's sitting at 6-2. Didn't really have the best map, number 1, but this is a map he's really comfortable on, 1.4. And already sitting with a nice stat line to start this one off.
I say 1.4, goodness sake. So yesterday he was Gig Awake. We're looking for Gig Awake to show up again. So far he's just been normal Wake. So we'll see if he can begin to increase. Nice shots at range. Strategies are known, however, for the Ravens as they will work from their high up positions, the top of the tower, as they will just continue to swipe away at Boston players. Beans on a bit of a streak. We'll see if he can get something going. Scrapz, meanwhile, takes the largest dolphin dive, maybe of the season. Somehow manages to stay up, and right now for Breach, working for the back of their base, in need of a pick, and a pick they will find.
That's a big kill right there from Awakening to take down Scrapz. Now you're going to force a couple players to rotate over towards that B side. Just gonna be able to open up this 8 point. Great positioning right there from Vivid to take down Scrapz off Spawn, but the pitch is able to come in from Asim. Now, if you are Nero, the farthest player pushed up, you just want to try to play your knife, finesse them around a little bit. Try to open up a lane for your teammates to attack from. They're still going to be putting pressure on towards A. You take down Pollux from top, and now the sack is going to come in first segment already done.
However, Nastie has revealed his position, so Boston definitely got to look both ways. They've got to be prepared. London could jump in at any moment, at least. Rather, when you least expect it, and they will. Nero, the sole man alive, watching all of his teammates drop, but cutting away the Ravens at the same time. 30 seconds still to go. And right now for Boston, they've yet to get that third segment in over at A. Positive being is that you still have Nero alive.
Yeah, you still have Nero alive. He's just trying to find that opening, but he's going to be able to stop that clock. He gets the information onto a player, but can't win the gunfight onto Nastie. Asim trying to go for the trade. He can't find it, and now that's 4 dead. If you are Boston, this is where you keep one player on the point. You all transition. Try to hit that rotation early. Try to trap them in towards the back of this rock spawn as they have field control. They have their spawn control. London need to find these kills now.
Yeah, it oftentimes comes down to the opening engagement, and Big Wake is able to find it. Nero, some long-range shots. That's going to be 3. Last player alive is Nastie. Boston can absolutely stack the point. Can Byron do anything? No, he will not. And watch that zone begin to fly. They are lighting up right now for Beans, as that's going to be 5 in a row for him, hanging out toward top party, and all London can do is watch from afar. A great ending to that round there from the boys on Breach.
That was great work right there from Boston. Once they found a clean 4 dead in that final moment towards that 8 point, they knew we got to transition over quick, because they're all spawning out towards back rocks. You trap them in towards that end. You get a clean 4 dead. Everybody hops on the point as Beans was slain from top party. Kill after kill in the feed. Boston Breach able to take that round. Now up 2-0.
You can see in a moment like that for Beans. He's just like, yep, just feed me. Just feed me. Having a great time just watching everybody up from London spawn. He is pixel perfect with that tap from range. And now instantly for the Ravens, you're put in an awkward position. Felt like you were going to secure that second round. Now you're looking at a 2-0 deficit. And now you're going to have to come in with an instant reply off the start of this round number 3. They've got to play their numbers carefully, though, Jay. We know for either side on Elasilo, a quick 3 or 4 down can spell a disaster as Breach continue to fly.
Yeah, Breach are continuing to fly as Nero's trying to hit the snap in towards bottom pull. Can't find the kill. But at least you do have one player in Asim all the way pushed up to Boston Breach's side of the map. He was going to be spotted. London is trying to get out of the base. They're trying to go to one of these points, but the defense is so strong right now from Boston. 2-2 split. Everyone is winning their one-on-ones, and even if they're losing it, they're instantly finding a trade. Great shots from Beans. Still hasn't dropped on a 7th spree.
That's a free gunfight victory for Awakening over at that B zone, so at least you are able to break through the setup for the moment. If you are London, as we said, we got a few players on sprees. Awakening's one away from his cruise missile. Right now, Beans is looking to call in his. And this is pretty healthy, especially if Awakening can find that second cruise missile. You already get off the point. Nero's hitting snaps. If you earn that cruise, I mean, you've got a lot of map positioning that you could use to your advantage. Awakening will fall, so no streak for him in that moment. And now for London, Asim has managed to find the lane, and that A zone looks like it will belong to them. Extra minute added.
Now look at that with number 1 on your minimap, Vivid. Wrap it all the way back. Make sure no one's trying to play for some spawn kills, but eventually he does get taken down. So this is where the kills come very important for Boston. You're going to get those close spawns over towards rocks, but you don't have any white control. London, they could not hold on to it in the previous defensive round, but now it's going to be London's turn. They're going to strike. Boston, you need to get these kills.
And Nastie, you need to find the gun. Oh my goodness. That was so stressful watching his POV. Falls away with the knife, but Breach able to answer. Nero comes like, oh, what the? Okay, Asim just hits a wild gunfight. Everybody's hitting some crazy shots, but as the dust settles, Nero and the boys from Boston remain alive and remain in the driver's seat. And right now for London, you're looking for the window of opportunity. You're looking for an SMG to open up a lane. As Nastie at least is able to take down one, it now could fall into Asim's hands. But as we said, the Ravens continue to fall by the wayside. They need a special moment right now, Jay.
Yeah, it's only 30 seconds left. You need one more good push. Asim, the farthest player pushed up. He's trying to execute this flank. You have one player, Nero, who's reading the play, able to take him down, and now it's all on the kills. Paulx is at least able to find one. 15 seconds left. You just got to be aggressive. The gunfights are huge.
Gunfights are going to be massive. Awakening just peeks through, able to cut away for one. Great work on the assistance and that gunfight. And now for London, they're starting to drop like flies. Asim, it's a crazy shot, but he's not going to be able to hop in the objective in time. And that will be a dominant game replied by an even more dominant one. A 3-0 here on aBeZy Control. Is that what, that's really what you wanted to see, man? For the Boston Breach, come back with an answer. And that was absolutely one of those. And for the Ravens, Jay, well, that's 2 times on aBeZy Control, 3-0 both times. I think we see that one get vetoed moving forward.
Yeah, that's the game mode that's been holding this Ravens squad back, man. They have not been able to find a lot of success in Control, anything other than Hotel. Now they find themselves under the CeeLo, and they got nothing to show for it. Another clean 3-0 in the books. So that dead last in attack and that dead last in defense is definitely going to stand out a little bit more now, but that was just a map that we knew Boston Breach were going to be able to take away. You had Nero 22 and 13 just putting on the pressure with that SMG. Awakening and Beans only die 7 times each. The ARs are holding down their power spots, getting the kills, earning themselves some of those cruise missiles. Boston Breach were just in control of the map the entire time they needed to be, as they clutch up in the Control, now go up 2-1 in the series.
Yeah, and I feel like, man, too, I mean, the London Royal Ravens, they definitely looked like a team that has only played aBeZy Control one time. I know, obviously, scrimmages are a totally different story, but at least in terms of CDL matches, it just looked unorganized. Like I said, our observer team is incredible, but we shouldn't be able to see London's each and every single fight. Like, we should see a little bit more cohesion, and at least in that opening attack, it just did not feel like things were all that coordinated. Like, it almost kind of forced them to go toward that A zone, and then when it came time to these crucial and clutch situations, it just felt like players were getting found out individually across the map.
Yeah, that's the thing that's difficult about a map like aBeZy Control, is because a lot of this map is all about their one-on-one gunfights. When you're able to win your one-on-ones and then chain them to like a 2 or 3 dead, that's when you're usually able to find a lot of success, but that's not the recipe that you want. You want to have a little bit more teamwork. Like you said, a lot of one-on-one gunfights, everyone splitting across the map. I basically thought we saw Asim every single time we were on his screen in the enemy lines, all the way pushed up on the opposite side by himself, just trying to make something happen. And at that point, you got to at least wrap back and get your teammates out of the base, knowing that Boston are already pushed up, playing all these corners. Like you said, it was just one-on-one every single time. Boston just had a lot better teamwork on this map, and that's what it showed at the scoreline at the very end.
Yeah, it's like, as you mentioned, like, it comes down to those one-on-ones, but at the same time, like, you do need a level of teamwork where trades can happen, and it just felt like for the Ravens, you just didn't see that all that much on that aBeZy. But as we said, another frustrating loss at a respawn. We'll see if they can try to turn it around as quickly the momentum now swings toward the opposite side. It's been all over the place. It started with Boston, then it went to London, and now we're back to Breach as they walked away with a solid Control here in a 3-0 fashion. Jay, talk to me a bit about Mercado Hardpoint. That's where we're headed next. For Boston, for London, what do you expect to see here? What do the records show you?
Well, Boston is sitting at 0-1. They've only had the opportunity to play it once, and it was versus a team like Atlanta FaZe, who are one of the best Mercado Hardpoint teams that we have in the game. It was basically an 100-point club. And then on the opposite side for London, 1-3 record. But the thing that really stood out for me is that they're 11th in rotation. You played the map 4 times, and we're not rotating on a map like Mercado, where there are 7 hills, and a majority of them are money hills. You need to make sure you're there early, because they're super difficult to find breaks if you're not finding your kills. So we got to see what London were like on their rotations in that map. Number 1, you have to do that in this map. Number 4, to try to force that game 5, because you know Boston, they struggle on game 5s, baby.
That's a very good point. I was getting ready to mention that. I was like, okay, this is a huge game for London, obviously, as we've talked about numerous times throughout this series, to start off well. But if they then win this Mercado, it then puts the Boston Breach in a situation where it's like, are they going to eventually find the ice? Are they still going to lose those game 5s? We'll see. We can't get there just yet. London, you still have a job to do when it comes down to this Mercado Hardpoint. But I don't know, Jamie, I feel like as we look throughout the numbers of this series, you know, if we're talking about Search Destroy, they're last in 3v4s, they're last in this. If you're last in rotating, it's never going to treat you kindly. I feel like for the Ravens, we've very much been able to pick apart what the small mistakes that they're making are. Turn those things around, you could have a totally different looking team. But We'll see what they can do on this Mercado HP, as they absolutely should have won our first hard point. They came out firing. We'll see if Nastie and the boys can get us to what would be a very, very interesting 5th map in this series.
And now it's going to be Boston Breach starting off on the better side, so more of a difficult tat for London. Try to break out from this 10 area. He's going to send 2 players all the way around towards street side. Vivid's going to try to be the cutoff man. Big first kill. Now all your main focus is just keeping them off this time, but you also want to flip those spawns because you know how impactful that P2 can be.
Well, this was a very, very passive start for the Ravens.
Very slow, very slow.
They eventually jump on forward, but we'll see if it does pan out. They actually do have somebody who does spawn inside a cantina. That is Paul X. So with that in mind, Breach are going to not be able to focus any attention over at P1 until they find those kills over at Next. They're able to do so, keeping those spawns in their favor, at least for the moment. We've got quite a few Ravens players with that map positioning advantage trying to cause a bit of havoc.
Yeah, you have Paul X, though, who's still in this position towards green, and that's going to be a clean 4 dead. Perfect time for London to find the break. Now Boston Breach have to execute the game plan, how they want to break in towards bottom cantinas. It's looking like 4 through the barbershop alley. It's all going to fall into the hands of Paul X. You want to try to get one, or at least give the information to your team that the pressure's coming here. Awakening's able to find that first blood. Boston Breach already the numbers in the trade advantage.
Yeah, Big Wake, it just feels like he's always going to win you gunfights like that. The opening pick, however, seems able to answer with 1. Nero now is going to be able to answer back with 2 of his own. Trades aplenty, but it is Nero clearing the way inside a cantina, doing what he can for the team, as now it all falls onto Big Wake and Vivid. A break that leads to another, as Nero will help clear the way and give Boston back that lead.
And now it's only Nero off the rotation by his lonesome, and there's one player who's setting up on the flank, which is going to be Nastie. Nero's not able to get anything for his early rotation, as London are able to find 3 kills in the feed. So this is where London have to respond. That's a good chunk of time off of P1. Change to a little bit over towards P2, but Boston were able to take the lead with the remaining 30 seconds. Now Boston Breach need to find another break. 2-2 split. You're playing it patient. Beans opens up with the first.
Oh, but this is a lead you can't afford to squander. Ravens just had a fantastic start. They cannot allow for a break to happen. Now inside of 10, doing a great job up to this point. However, Nero looks to strike. He eventually does get found out, and now all the focus goes in toward Awakening. Wave 1 cleared for London, but Boston very, very eager to knock on the door once more. Nastie, he will drop Paul X. He does too. 30 seconds still to fight for, and Boston have found the break.
Oh, Boston found the break, and they have 2 players already off the rotation. You're stunning, using all your attacks towards back alley. This is where Vivid's gonna fly, runs right by Paul X. Could have potentially picked up 3, but great job from Boston players to find a couple kills off the rotation. London do have 4 players in this position, so it's gonna fall into the hands of Awakening and Nero. Can they win this rotation?
This just gets to be all-out chaos. We've got gunfights happening everywhere around the map. The spawns are up in the air, but thankfully for London, they win the fights that they have to, and now they absolutely have preferred positioning when it comes down to the barbershop. Scrapz with a nice little fade himself. We'll see if he can continue to cut away a few of these Breach players. Remaining toward the top side of the cantina. Boston looking to make their way through the front. Scrapz able to win his fights, and Paul does too. Great work once more for London as they take down Boston in stride.
That was great work from London, especially Paul X. He went massive with a 2-piece in towards Hill because Boston had a lot of mid-map control. Okay. Looked like they were about to break it, but London with a flawless hold over towards Barbershop, and it's finally going to be Boston Breach winning a rotation early on to a Hill. Now it's all about these gunfights. You have to win these. Nastie opens up with the first. Asim is going to slip right on by, find the second, and already it's a 2v2 off the rotation.
Don't allow for this man to cook. Right now with Asim and Scrapz just engagement magnets right now. You're looking at 24 and 12 from those 2 men combined. We'll see if they can lead the charge, trying to poke away at Nero off the start. It is picture perfect work as Alex now has his opportunity. 1 away from the streak. Soulman, here is Beads, and he will drop. The Ravens keeping up that same level of work that we saw in the opening hard point.
Ravens are coming out swinging, man. Winning your rotations, winning breaks when you need to. They're holding down the power position. So far, playing a great hard point. Boston Breach haven't had a great setup so far, but they're still getting a little bit of time off of this P5. But you're thinking about it. 25 seconds left. That top canteen is going to be crucial. It's going to be Boston Breach early off the rotation, fully set up. Remaining 20 is going to go to London. She's going to be able to put them up by 60. But this is where Boston have the opportunity to respond.
Yeah, right now for Breach, man, I feel like you're just looking for a moment to catch your breath a bit. It feels like Asim has been flying throughout the map. Paul X is just finding 2 pieces left and right. The same thing can be said for Scrapz. Right now for Breach, as the time will begin to go your way, you're hoping to catch a few of these Ravens players out, find a few picks, and start to lead the charge back into this game. As we said, made a wild comeback in that first hard point, and now find themselves down by 45 points. At least Nastie is able to sneak his way through the setup, and he'll make a decent dent in it. Both Nastie and Asim, the SMGs, trying to lead the charge and give it those spawn outs for Boston. Right now for the Ravens, they've got numbers again.
Asim just made such a crucial play. He finds that first blood through tunnel, then he wrapped back to Hedges to now influence the sponsor Boston's Breach all the way towards Barbershop. What a beautiful break out of the young man, sitting at 18 and 10. It's Nastie ready for the attack, but eventually to get 2-piece by Beans. So it's a good 15 seconds. You're able to maintain the better side of the map. Boston Breach just need to have a good hold. We need to start off a new hill by winning that first gunfight, so you're already winning that trade battle.
As we said, it just feels like the pace right now for the Ravens has been hard to handle. We'll see if Beans can maybe start to lead the charge right now for the Breach. As we said, did not have a great hardpoint performance yesterday, but absolutely did in that hotel. He was the guy to make the clutch plays, and right now on 1 HP, he could be in threat of earning a cruise missile. However, he still has to go through Asim, who is really the player that they are looking out for right now, as they've walked away with the first 20 seconds, and now it's time for the Ravens to arrive. Beans finds his pick on the top side of the map, and the rest of the Breach will be able to win theirs. Last man up is Nastie, as we'll step aside and go to a listing with the Boston Breach.
Yeah. He's back out. One's back out. Yeah. I'm gonna try to go get it. One's close. Yeah, on the wall. Mid-heady and Barber.
Yeah, there's 2 there.
Huh? Mid-heady and Barber and Hill.
On the wall.
Yeah.
House too close to me.
I'm trying to go back out.
Close, one shot.
We're going low.
He's hitting. I don't know.
There's like 3 of them.
I'll take house.
Yeah, they might be on us still 30. It's still Barber.
He's short sun, right corner.
Yeah, short got away. He's on me.
Yeah, he's in the right corner, right corner. He wants to move in.
You didn't go banana? Still my corner.
Might kill.
I had him once.
Might run me.
He's dead. He's
He's ready.
Nice job,
I'm getting wallbang.
I'm saying hi, signing. They could be on you. Yeah.
He wants to take me on me.
I Top house. Going back probably. Let's go back. Yeah. I'm one shot. Alright, he's weak. Nice, another one. Tunnel one short.
Corner hill.
Okay, I spawned back alley again. Yeah, I'm gonna go dark though. No, banana. He's sitting banana watching. Alright, Barber Chuck, banana hill, and waiting for one.
We're talking about mid.
He's not above Chuck.
He's mid, I think. Keep going.
Can't see him.
I was thinking, he's shouting up. He's dead. Dude, that's his banana, only one hill.
A great check in there with the Boston Breach. Comms are fast as you like. Especially on a map like Mercado, you're going to need them to be that way. And right now for Boston, you are in need of a break at the Cantina. Beans has been looking to make the play. We'll see if the strategy manages to net successfully for him. He's got quite a few teammates who can clean up some of these weakened players, but Beans decides to take matters into his own hands. Nastie able to shut him down, as now it's all going to be on to Big Wake. SMG in hand. Can he find 2? Yes! They start to line up. Oh, and he'll find the third 2. Right when Breach need to break, they're able to find it.
But now we need to rotate. If you are Boston, this is a good 20 seconds, but now you're going to lose that rotation over towards 10. We got to go. You got to put the pedal to the metal. We got to get to the next hill and win a couple gunfights. Beans opens up with the first, so already in the trade advantage, as one player is going to spawn all the way towards garage. Asim's going to be ready for the pinch. This is where you invest that cruise little, get the information for your team, so you can potentially find that first kill to try to execute this break.
And threads the needle. Beans able to drop the first. You can see those arrows right now for Breach begin to collapse inside of 10. Scrapz trying to give it the communication, looking to find everybody that he can. The door open.
Shoot, teammates
firing at his own teammate. But Breach are gonna fall by the wayside. A clean 4 down and 20 seconds now to go for London.
Boston Breach spawning all the way across the map. Only 15 seconds to London call game. Boston Breach going for the 2-2 split. These gunfights are big.
They mean everything. Awakening and Vivid able to combine for 2. They've got numbers as they run in toward 10 for what could be the final team fight. Oh! Every single one. And just like that, we've got a game 5.
Mr. Matty Marshall steps up in that final play. Finds the final 3 kills to now force us to the game 5. The Ravens just knew what they needed to do. When Boston Breach were set up at hills, they took it nice and slow for their breaks. At certain money hills where it looking like Boston should be able to set up properly and get a full 60 hold, London were able to find breaks, win a majority of their rotations. When you find in those rotations, the gunfights are a lot easier. Look at the slaying on the side of the Ravens. Everyone positive. Obviously, Scrapz and Asim really set the tone, but they just took over the game, man. Obviously, Boston Breach, they only played it one time before this, and it was versus Atlanta FaZe. But you gotta make sure you're rotating, man. You can't be playing for junk time at 30 to 25 seconds left, because then at the next hill, you're already playing from the back foot. London, they get great holds, they win rotations, they force game 5.
Yeah, I feel like in that situation for Boston, it's like you can't really, I don't know, man. It's like you don't really want to give up the time at Cantina, but at the same time, you just kind of have to cut your losses at a certain point, regardless. We could talk about it all day and night, but really for the Ravens, it was all about the lead that they established at the start of the game. They got out of the gate top. They were breaking hard points effortlessly. And I'll tell you what, man, it felt like off the rip, I was like, okay, is this going to be a very slow-paced London team, given the lack of a preferred side when it came down to Mercado? And from that point forward, once they got Cantina control, for P2, they just flew. They absolutely just flew. Impressive stuff for the Ravens, as honestly, this series should be over when we talk about that first hard point, but we do have a game 5 on our hands, and for Boston fans, it hasn't treated you kindly previously. We'll see if Beans can be the difference and who will walk away with what is sure to be a thriller. Embassy Search Destroy when we come back after this.
Doc, 2 dogs.
I got one.
Last three front door. Last front door. They hit you,
I'm hitting all the time.
One more. Last hit, behind you.
Okay.
Nice. He's been behind you.
Go Nero.
You went off that.
Oh, well, there are the comps. There are the comps for the London Royal Ravens to close out that hard point. The boys are feeling good. You have to imagine, Jay, considering that, as we said, this series should be over already, considering how that opening hardpoint loss was for them. But it feels like so far it's just been one team answers, the other team replies. We've got ourselves a game 5, and I saw the Boston Breach Twitter. They're sweating it out right now, Jay. Why is that?
Because they're 0-6 in game 5s, man. No ice, brother. That is tough, man. You are great at your search to destroys in game 2, but haven't found anything to close out your series all the way into game 5. So Boston got to put it together. Brand new roster. We know what they like to do on this map. They are a great team on the defensive end, but a little bit better on their attacking rounds. And then on the opposite side for London, they're sitting at 0-2 on this map. We have had the opportunity to watch them play this versus Toronto. They lost 4-6 by getting 2v4 clutch, 1v3 clutch. A lot of clutches happening. So if you're London, you cannot allow that to happen. But they also recently played it versus Florida, and they got slammed. They got 6-2'd on that map. So if you are London, it all has to start on the defensive end. Don't give up that freebie bomb plant. Make sure you're watching that cross and making the rounds difficult for Boston.
Yeah, absolutely. We're talking about, the map 5 records. We know what it is for Boston Breach. You called it out, Jay, the 0-6 performance. However, something to be said about the London Royal Ravens. They have also lost their last 4 game 5. So they have also not had the ice. We talked about a few of those game 5s. They go differently. We're talking much differently about the Royal Ravens so far throughout this season. As we fly in for some good old aBeZy, we're talking about players to watch, but that is the stat. That is the one to take hold of. The KDs. Oh God, that is. Those have not been close game 5s, apparently.
Yeah, that's not good, man. Not good. But I think the 2 players that I really want to focus on is the guy on the side of London who dropped 17 kills on this map before, which is Asim. What enough of that? Nastie with a beautiful 2-piece with that Kobe up in the air. Already going to set the tone as Boston Breach try to get aggressive towards B, but no trophy systems to work with in round 1, 4v2 now.
If you're Boston Breach, like, okay, guys, listen. New roster. We're jumping into a game 5. Things are different. Boom. 2-piece by the nade. Beans, good night. Awakening. Quick little 1v4 for him. Thankfully, he's got plenty of time to think about what it is that he wants to do. Surely does not spot the head of Scrapz from that far away. And yeah, he just gets absolutely overwhelmed. A solid start for the Ravens, and it absolutely helps when you find a nade 2-piece off the start.
Yeah, that was beautiful work right there from Nastie. I'm pretty sure one of the players gets pegged in the face with that nade. So they're probably both running battle hardened. They're probably thinking we're going to get stunned off this cross. Let's try to get across a little bit quicker so we can make the plays happen. No flak to work with as they get 2-pieced right off the rip. And eventually London secure the defensive round. 4 up, 4 down. Now up 1-0.
Watch those nades again.
Yep. Oh, there goes another.
We'll see if Boston can avoid. They're watching craters begin to form here on aBeZy. Scrapz eventually grabs the bomb. Now we focus on up. Bomb handed over now to Paul X. They just begin to toss that objective around. Vivid, the first one to expire a few shots. Meanwhile, it is the other SMG in Nero, who's found himself quite comfortable as he can quickly enter in toward a line of sight at any point. Nastie able to find Vivid regardless of it. And now for the Ravens, they begin to look for another pick. Oh, he's able to find the first. Asim eventually drops him. Awakening puts in a few bullets toward the end. However, it's the great cover fire for London that will keep this 3v2, this man count advantage once more intact. A bit of an easier situation this time around for Beans and Awakening. Now a 2v2. Beans able to put in a few bullets. Oh, and he answers back. Has got some word for Scrapz. Nastie 1v2 decides to invest that silence. And with only a few seconds remaining, is he going to be able to get this bomb down? Oh my word, there is Beans. Plants down the objective and had no idea that he was right there. Great job there at aBeZy, and eventually ends up dropping him. Oh my word. That is. Jay, I don't think the broadcast can hear you right now, buddy. I think you may have to reconnect. Maybe it's all good. Yeah, we'll see you in just a moment. Jay was just breaking everything down perfectly. He was breaking down everything perfectly, folks. Don't worry about it. It's all good. 1-1. Oh, and Beans nearly lines it up. Jay, I'm being told that you're back. Thank goodness.
I think I'm back. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't know what just happened. I guess my PC just didn't understand how Beans was able to get that bomb guy right next to him as London are able to find the first 2 kills onto the round. Beans is trying to line it up with the snipe, but nothing is going to be able to connect. So now in the 4v2 with a minute left, bomb is going to be down. Tall task ahead for the ARs.
For the 3rd round in a row, it is Beans and Awakening left to try to clutch it up. Unsuccessful in round 1. They do it in round 2. Can they do it in round number 3? Beans continuing to snap with the sniper. Regardless, though, not able to connect. With that being the case, 35 seconds to go. You still got to get a move on when it comes down to that objective. So a lot of work still to be done here for the Boston Breach duo.
Oh, yeah, it's 30 seconds. And we're nowhere close to the bomb. So now if you are Nasty, you get that information. That bomb is down. They can't do nothing on the round. As Scrapz rotates his way towards the middle of the map. Now it's all up to Beans with the sniper pistol. Does have a Vaz to work with, but not enough time for him to clutch up on the round. London with the complete blind counter. Super aggressive in towards aBeZy. Find the first 2. And just played super patient, knowing that they can't get that bomb planted. Now up 2-1.
What about you, Jay? I'm just kind of noticing a bit of a pattern, right? It feels like Vivid and Nero are just not alive in the later stages of these rounds. As we said for Beans and Awakening, they've been the last 2 alive so far. They're at every round here in this game 5. As you absolutely need those guys to win their fights off the rip and really just be alive toward the later stages of these rounds. Vivid 0-3, and currently for Nero only 1 kill to his name. So 1-6 between your playmakers on this team. However, Nero eager to get back into the fight, get involved in the fray, cuts away 1, and also destroys that trophy. So it's going to increase that lane and continue to cause a bit of damage toward that part of the map. But for Ravens, your bomb carrier's down, and now things begin to get that much more difficult. A second pick found now.
Yeah, now in a 4v2, Nero in a great position to take down Nasty. All up to Scrapz. In the 1v4, bomb down at B. Boston are ready for it. They know exactly where he's coming from. It's been all defense from both of these teams so far. As Boston Breach respond with a very clean round. It all starts with that first blood from Nero, because you can see the game plan right there from London. Let's try to put this trophy down. Let's get this bomb down instantly, and let's hold down our embassy building. But once that player drops, everything is in shambles, as you now have to work your way out with Boston having a great setup. As Boston Breach was strong with the round, now 2-2.
You're just living on the edge, right? If you're an SMG in the spot like that, you know, front PD, you peek out just a little too far, you can be spotted on the cross, but at the same time, so often you can see quite a bit of success in spots like where Nero was last round. Breach now back on the attacking side as they've got pretty much full control over at that B site. Regardless, though, there is 1 player here, and right now that is Scrapz. He's got his hands full, really, with the gunfight versus Awakening. Meanwhile, it is Beans on the other side who's able to drop 1. So bomb down, London 3v4.
Bomb down, and now look at the setup right now for Boston. You have 2 players who are committing towards their flank. 1 player who's watching top embassy, so no one's going to be able to execute that side of the map. Scrapz is able to take down Vivid. As Asim trying to work for this player. Beans takes him down with a great positioning. Paulex makes it a 2v2.
And Beans in the back. Gonna win this fight. However, at the same time, he can just stay alive. Paulex, he's gonna be the one to aggress, and he will. And now it is all up to Awakening. His position is known, and Paulex has got to win this gunfight. Not able to do so. Awakening will get the checks in this round, regardless of if a kill is found or not. Is gonna go the way of Breach. Bomb will explode, and Breach, just like that, reclaim the lead.
Yeah, my guy Scrapz is up towards that top AC for the entirety of the round. Never jump down from that positioning. It all falls into the hands of Paulex. If he wins that one-on-one versus Awakening, obviously the defuse is able to come on in. But with only 15 seconds left, Awakening had to win that one-on-one, throw a shoulder here and there, make sure he wasn't defusing. As Boston Breach secure the round. Just good work from them to dodge those nades, get that bomb planted. especially after Beans got that first blood.
I will see what the look is for the Ravens. Scrapz does get a bit of information. So Nero does not find, I was going to say, really the angle he wanted, but he spots somebody on the bomb. Meanwhile, Nastie's there to bring out the sniper. And it's trades aplenty through the middle side of the map. Currently, it is favoring the breach. All up to Nastie and Asim, as now he will drop as well. Trades continue to favor Boston. A sniper and a pistol in hand. Can Nastie come away with a clutch? He's able to spot somebody through middle, though.
Yeah, the information is there for Boston. They know they has a sniper in hand. As Awakening was able to give that information to the player crossing back over towards Embassy. So if you are Beans, just play your life towards Embassy. Do not give him an angle. He's going to pop right on up. Catch Nastie off guard. As Boston breach. Flawless so far on the defensive round. I think it was a big play, though, from Nero. Because he gets stunned from top window. So right there, he knows that the aggression is going to be towards the site. He uses a stun of his own to slow down Paul Lex, get that first blood. And that was the biggest kill of the round. Boss breach, now up 4-2.
Yeah, it just looked like in a moment like that. It's like, okay, London, they finally got him. And no, not at all the case. Able to spot somebody on the bomb. Walks away with that gunfight victory. And from there, strategies from the Ravens. Walk away with that first blood. Not successful. Nades are tossed out for the Ravens, but this time it's Boston who've got the trophies. And it's Beans who's having a phenomenal game, bringing out the sniper once more. As it is all out chaos right now in the middle map. It just feels like continually, Jay. It is Boston going up in numbers early. Another pick now for Beans. Asim in a 1v3.
Asim in a 1v3. Beans is able to spot him, throw a couple shoulders, hit a couple shots with that pistol. But now, if you are Boston, this is where you know his positioning. You just try to play for this trade. Don't give him one-on-one gunfights as they're just trying to locate where he's trying to exit from. He's going to rotate his way all the way back towards a 45 seconds. Boston breach into 3v1. It's time to get that bomb down.
What if there was one player? If there was one player from the Ravens that you want to be alive in a situation like this, it is Asim. Gets a few tags in on Vivid, but no kill confirmed. But it's Beans, I believe, with the sniper. Watching that cross, the cover fire successful there for Boston. And it is the new addition, inching them ever closer to their first Game 5 victory of the season.
Oh, man, you saying that 0-6 in Game 5s? Maybe if you get yourself a little bit of Beans, you have a good chance at winning that Game 5. As he's sitting at 9-3 stat line right now. Just took over in that round with the sniper, holds down his angles, able to find 2 kills in that one. But now Boston breach at game point. London need to chain a couple together. It all starts with this fast bomb plan. You need to get across because Nero's been able to shut it down every time.
He's now been spotted. Nero has been spotted again. Thankfully, no! Oh, heavens! I thought he had the...
Oh, my!
You go! The ice has been found, and the Beans is letting them know. The streak has been ended. And how about a round to close it out? Boston fans celebrating. As not only do they find the W here versus the Ravens, Jay, but they start off Major 3 with a lovely 2-0 record.
Oh, man, Boston breach, man. They just came out swinging. Obviously not the cleanest in the hard points. But in that game number 5, the new addition to the squad, 10-3, took over the game with this sniper in hand. Even in 2v4s with Awakening, when he was getting pushed, he was beaming you across the map. It's a great game plan from Boston. I just wish London would have shut down Nero at least once. Their game plan was trying to get that bomb down over towards B, but every single time Nero got to that side, he was able to take down that bomb carrier and then completely break the game plan on the side of the Ravens. That's just a tough one, man. You think about that map number 1, 2 points away from taking that. The LSE control, obviously, that one wasn't close, but London, they fought. They fought in this series for sure to force it all the way to a game 5. The Boston breach just a little bit more icy in that final game. Close it out in a 6-2, and they take the series.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it, right? I mean, if Boston doesn't make a wild comeback in that opening hotel hardpoint, the Ravens, they win this series, right? Yeah. They win this series at a 3-1. We're talking about them totally differently. Boston clutches up. They walk away with the game 5, and I'm sure for them, man, obviously with the new roster starting things off 2-0, it's got to feel good, but it's also got to feel amazing to know that you can win game 5s now. The curse is over.
Oh, it's got to feel great, man. Just hope Beans, man. Yo, pull out the sniper, dog. Do whatever you want on the map. You got us in the back pocket, and he did it so well in that Game 5.
Incredible stuff there for the new edition. My mask is somewhere. I'll have to find that before we come back here in a little while. But that's going to do it for myself and Jay for this series. Desk, Puckett, take it away, guys.
Thank you so much. We are done. The first match is over. We still have 3 more to go, and while the next one's getting ready, let's revisit how Boston gets their second victory. And we should mention, this is exactly what we saw at the start of Major 1 qualifiers, a 2-0 opening week, Allie.
Yeah, and I'm going to get a little bit nitpicky here with the Boston Breach, simply because, to me, this was a 2-point hardpoint series, to be honest. When it comes to that map number 1, right. 250 to 248, London was in a position here to possibly take this series 3-1. And I think my biggest issue right now is the fact that maybe Owakening and Beans play a little bit too similar. You know, Boston didn't really need that additional slaying. They just needed somebody who's going to be playing the time and playing that rotation. But regardless, it's a fantastic win. Their search and destroy with the addition of Beans and that sniper has clearly made a complete overhaul. We saw it in this embassy search and destroy, where previously they were heavily struggling without having a main sniper on the squad. So a huge bounce back out of Beans today.
Nameless, last night we saw Beans finishing about 1,000 damage behind his teammates in that final Game 4. Tonight he finishes 500 points higher in damage in search and destroy. A 10-3 from Beans.
Yeah.
Was he what Boston was missing when it comes to Game 5s?
I mean, maybe, right? That was a fantastic Game 5 with the sniper. You know, we were talking about it, like his impact there would be huge because previously they had Vivid using the sniper. He's just a dynamic SMG player that you don't want sniping in search, so it definitely helps him in that regard. So good search performance out of him, but also in the hard points as well. You can see the energy there. He had some really good moments, even on the Mercado that they lost. He was really the guy who was taking over mid-game, keeping them in that game. So I think, by all means, Beans had a fantastic bounce back today in this series. And, you know, to Ali's point, it is a, you know, closer game versus, you know, the worst team that we have in the league currently. But still, we saw a lot out of Boston throughout the series. Hard point control looked fantastic. Nero had a hell of a performance in that control. And they closed it out in Game 5. So improvements across.
Nero, we were talking about in the green room. Is he your MVP still for this series, or did Beans steal it at the end?
I mean, I think we got to all show Beans some love for that performance, but for me, it's what Nero does for the team on the map, man. Like, you go back and you watch that Asilo control, what Nero's doing is insane. He's winning the impossibles bucket on the map, and then in that search and destroy, every single time getting pushed up towards hedges, somehow finding the kill. Kid's a monster.
But, Allie, we have to revisit game number 1, because this is where it all started to unravel for London. You could have had a win this week. Instead, game 1 goes the opposite way. This is our scuff play of the game. Walk me through, how did Boston battle back into this?
This was insane. This was just a lot of clutch plays by some individual players in the Boston Breach. Vivid actually finds an opener here, and this was a situation that they shouldn't have been able to break in. We're a couple steps behind right now when they already got that break. Beans will find 2 kills, and then it's just a hold from here on. They read the flood through middle. You know, everybody gets their trades and their kills, and London just isn't able to clutch up in the end. And again, like I said, this was a 2-point game from possibly London winning this series 3-1. Personally, I think with the talent on Boston Breach and what we've seen, they should have won this map much more comfortably in this series, much more comfortably. Not to take away from this wins at all, but I think their hard point could definitely use some VOD review from that map 1 and 4.
You beat Toronto 3-1 yesterday. You go the distance against our number 12 seed today. But Boston giving us some highlights to kick off a Super Saturday. Let's check in on our standings and update everyone where we're at. Because reminder, we're halfway through the season. You got to be in the top 8 if you want to play at champs. And the Royal Ravens, they are deep in a hole, still sitting on 30 points, and they had 20 after opening weekend.
Yeah, man, it's looking bad for Royal Ravens, man. I'd have to go back to last season and look at like Major 3 where teams are at and like where the cutoff was, but it's looking grim, man. You got to get some wins right now. Like, you start in losers bracket, you don't get many wins online, you potentially put yourself in a spot where you can't even make champs. That is just unacceptable at this point in the season.
I do want to call out Boston as well. You see them now above Surge. Surge going out 9th through 12th in Boston after a run in Raleigh. Interesting to see Boston in control of that 7th spot with 90 points. We got the man, though, that earned our MVP honors. He's joining us right now. Mr. Nero, how are we feeling about winning a Game 5, baby?
I'm feeling good. We finally broke the Game 5 curse. Holy crap. What are we, 1-6 in Game 5?
It wasn't pretty.
It was
bad.
I guess all it took was a sniper.
It absolutely just took a sniper in that embassy search and destroy. I mean, it looks completely different now, completely new dimensional for you guys. So it's great to add that to your map pool. I do want to ask, though, where did you think you guys found the struggle there in map 1 and 4? Because typically you're a really strong hardpoint, you're a really strong respawn team. We saw it in that control. What did you guys feel like the struggle was when it came against London?
Well, if you look at the score, we obviously it was close, but when you look at the kills category, they outslayed us by a crap ton. So I think we just need to focus harder on our kills and then push it, like do a team push together.
Yeah.
But then we also got broke a lot, so we need to work on like setup wise too.
Nero, I want to ask you, obviously Method's retired, you guys were teaming for a while. One, how was that for you seeing that happen, especially right after your guys' tournament? And then also, what was the discussion like after that, talking to Beans, getting him ready to come into the squad?
It sucked personally because obviously I went to the pro league with him. He was sort of my mentor of the league, and he showed me the ins and out of how to be a pro and what to do, how to speak technically. Yeah, he's my day one, ride or die for that, man.
How was it?
I miss you, bud.
There we go. How was the discussion with bringing Beans in, talking to him and trying to fit him into your system?
So basically, well, he also had different callouts for us too. So it was just trying to get him prepped for every map. We gave him like spreadsheets of what Zin did and told him to pretty much just study that and copy that. No, seriously, and he's doing pretty good. I'm glad he played with his hands today.
He definitely used all 10 fingers. Can we talk a little bit about your performance, though? Everyone's talking about the Vaznev getting nerfed. Didn't seem to affect you much today. How has this been for you as an SMG player?
Well, the nerf really didn't do much, but I don't know. The Vaz is a god gun. That's a do-it-all gun. So you just I don't even know.
We're just watching some of your highlights back here, and I got nothing but smiles on my face. Nero, you were just lighting everybody up. Great to see Boston starting off with a 2-0. Final question before you go, though, is who's controlling the comms? A lot of people thought Methods may be a shot caller. Who is the person commanding the troops in game these days?
It's I would say everybody, but it's mostly Reese. Reese is our like in-game leader now. He mostly was the in-game leader too. Zin did a lot too, but when it wasn't Zin, it was Reese. So now Reese is really stepping up with the comms as well.
You and Vivid doing work today, man. Congratulations. We'll let you go. We have 3 more matches to go. Do you think Atlanta beats Florida? Yeah, I think so, maybe. Sorry to cut you off there, Nero. We'll get our official predictions in here in just a moment. Chat, get ready and lock in. 3 more games coming your way today. After the break, we're going to have a good one for you. Atlanta, the reigning champs, taking on the Mutineers, who have retooled. They brought in Capsule, and we get a chance to see Felony from the Championship Challengers team. He's up next on the main stage.